Hello, and welcome to the Free Black Girl Podcast. This is a space for joyful healing, learning, and collective liberation. My name is Najma Ahmed, and you are listening to a series of mini podcast episodes called Lessons from Liberation. If you've been here before, I need you to go ahead and hit like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube, and leave a 5-star review if you're listening on Apple or Spotify. I want the podcast to continue to grow, and that really helps me out. Also, share this podcast with someone you think needs to hear it. And if you're new, welcome. I'm so excited to have you joining. I shared in my first season of the podcast all the ways in which I got free from unhealed trauma, people pleasing, and really from any person, place, or thing causing me to betray myself. Now, these lessons from liberation are based on what I learned last year after asking myself, now what? I started a blog during that time called The Freedom Pages, and I'm sharing what I reflected on in real time. Last week, I shared about liberation beginning with healing and regulating our nervous systems. And after we've reached a certain point in our healing, when we return back to our body, we begin to shed the scripts that we've been acting under. We get out of the boxes and release the supposed tos. We start to ask, who am I? Why am I here? What do I want to be doing with my life? Let's jump into this week's episode. I was talking to a coaching client the other day, and I was saying how we literally get this one shot at the life that we are living right now. And oftentimes fear keeps us limited in what we think is possible for us. But when fear is no longer driving, we can dare to dream, to desire more out of this life. We were put here to experience the fullness of life, not some limited cookie cutter expression of our humanness. But we can feel so small, and those questions can feel so big and daunting to answer. Who am I? Why am I here? What do I want out of life? How do we even begin to answer those questions? That's what the seeker phase of my liberation method is. It starts with curiosity, with wondering, with asking questions. When we're playing out a script, there's usually not much room for improv. You're doing this thing because that's what has been told to you that you're supposed to be doing. But when you set the script on fire, well, now you have to listen to your body. That's why we regulate our nervous system, so you can hear what your body is telling you. When something feels like it's in alignment, or when you're doing things that you have to force, your body will tell you that as well. It's in the pit of your stomach. It's in the anxiety that you feel, or it's in the determination that you feel when something truly is meant for you. But it takes time and practicing and allowing yourself to be unsure at times. It's like taking the scientific method to your life. And in case you need a refresher of what the scientific method is, that is making an observation, asking a question, forming a hypothesis, conducting an experiment, analyzing the data, and drawing conclusions. But a lot of times we like to jump and leap onto those conclusions and skipping all the other steps. Something I ask my clients is when they're thinking about what their purpose is, I ask them, what brings you joy that fills a need for other people? Always starting with your joy. And I think we actually know what our purpose is. It's that thing that you do naturally, that you go back to, that thing that you think about, but then you dismiss it because you're not quite sure that it's practical. Our purpose can also be tied to the things that we've had to overcome, that we've had to navigate, and that we wish we had someone to guide us through. And when you make it to the other side, you can become a light for others. Your purpose can be connected to that as well. I find that this is oftentimes the most difficult phase for people because we're so used to some external authority telling us who we are. We're so used to, okay, go to school, get a job, get married, have kids. And please know, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with any of that. We need those things as well. But when you decide to get out of that box, there's no map anymore. We're in the unknown. But there's so much power in that you get to decide what you want to do with your brief and wondrous life. And we'll talk more about it in the event next week on 4/21 at 6 p.m. Make sure you register to Building Our New World. In that session, we're going to talk about your highest imagination. When you think about why you are here and what you want to contribute, how you want to spend your existence, it's not about working. It's about who do you want to be? What do you want to create? What do you want to experience? How do you want to connect? And your mind, of course, will go to, well, how am I going to make some money? And we'll get to that part. But allow yourself to stay in the curiosity, in the seeking, in the dreaming. We often talk about being our ancestors' wildest dreams. Well, you are going to be somebody's ancestor one day. What is your wildest dream? I dream about a world where Black women are full of joy. They're free to live the lives they desire. They have everything that they need, that we are in community with each other, supporting each other, loving each other, and creating worlds where everyone else can do the same. Where we are in balance with nature, with the universe, guided by spirit and the ancestors. And my purpose is to help bring that into fruition using what I've learned on my journey to teach others, to hold space for others, and to guide them. I want to share part of my Liberation Guide activity with you. So take out your journal and take notes on what comes up for you. The seeker is the spark. This is the energy of curiosity, imagination, and rediscovery of self-trust. Capacity for self-trust is directly connected to curiosity. You cannot trust yourself if you are a stranger to you. You have to get curious about you. After healing comes remembering, who am I? What brings me joy? What do I want to create? Who do I want to be outside of what others have told me that I am? What does freedom look like for me? What does it feel like? The seeker stage challenges the narratives that tells you to be practical or to stay small. It allows you to discover your mission, your vision, and teaches you that abundance is possible when you are in alignment with your purpose and your values. In this phase, you explore without judgment. You can dream without fear taking over, and you allow curiosity to guide you into the strategic clarity that you're searching for. Core practices in the seeker stage include visioning, ideation, action learning, experimentation, and strategizing. And a mantra that you can repeat in this phase is, I trust myself to be the captain of my ship. Liberation deepens when you trust your intuition and you follow what lights you up. When the world tells you to find your purpose, start by remembering who you already are. This reflective practice helps you to locate yourself beneath the layers of expectation and conditioning, so you can create from a place of truth, not from a performance of a script. So step 1. Asking yourself, who am I? So you take a few deep breaths and let your shoulders drop and write freely in response to this question. Who am I when nobody is watching? And don't search for the perfect answer. This doesn't have to be a dissertation. Let whatever arises move through you. Step 2, where did I learn to be this way? So a lot about getting curious is about noticing the patterns, noticing the cycles, and tracing those patterns with compassion. But what family, cultural, or survival lessons shaped how you show up? What beliefs about success or safety or worthiness did you inherit? Step 3, what do I want to unlearn? So notice what no longer fits from those patterns. Which stories and roles or fears have kept you small and disconnected from your joy? Step 4, how do you want to evolve? Dreaming beyond what you were taught to expect. Who am I becoming when I live in alignment with my values, with my pleasure, with my truth? And then read those answers aloud. Hear your own voice saying them, because you're not lost, you're remembering. Affirm to yourself, I am releasing what was never mine to carry and evolving into who I've always been. Thank you for listening. Go ahead and hit like and subscribe. Leave me a comment and a 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts. I really hope these lessons from liberation help you to grow, as you being in community with me helps me to grow. And as always, I want this to be a conversation. What world are you dreaming of?